Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Look, we really do have a fire this time. Our fireside chat has a fire. Of course, the fire's back in Hope Valley. I'm so excited to be here. How is everyone? I'll give you a few minutes to join in. I want to see who's here. Let's look and see. There are some questions I already saw too that I can answer before we dive in. Wow, there are so many questions. Everyone's just saying hi. Yes, hi and happy new year. Let's see who else. I see Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Margie. Just looking through. If I don't see your name or call your name out, I see you. Judy, I have a question. You can't wait to see Chris. So you have not seen this episode yet? Do you have to wait? Do you get it tomorrow? Is that what I was curious about that? Could you put in the comments? So I mean, just because you know you're going to wind up with spoilers, right? Or if you're okay with that, that's great. Not that I don't want you to be here. Hi, Cindy. What was the fine for running a red light in 1922? I don't know, Carrie, because they didn't when I looked it up, I think that the traffic light didn't come till 1925 when I looked it up to that Canadian area. And I know you could play a few years with whatever. So yes. Yes, the pink tree. There it is. It's not that it's back. It never goes away. In my office, my little tiny office, for anybody that's ever been to my home, and there are some people that have, this office has everything in it that I absolutely love, and it just stays up. It never goes away. So it has beautiful bunnies that I think came from Easter, and a beautiful pumpkin, and pillows like this, even though that's a snowflake. It just stays up because it's my favorite thing. It's my happy place. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Okay, were we trending? I thought I saw someone asking that question. Bouchard is back, did not trend. Chris McNally may have trended, I'm not sure, but even the only thing that I saw trend, but it wasn't trending with numbers, which means it's under 1,000, was What Calls the Heart. But there were a lot of hashtags out there for Lucas. One was Lucas deserves better, and something, I don't know. There was just so many. And that's what we've learned happens to us when we're not united. So maybe we got it together too late. But I saw y'all out there. I saw Arlene and then those who couldn't go, like the don't like Wilma, she let us use some of her real pretty detailed edits that she made. So I think it was good. It was good. It was good. It was good. Just watch the sneak peek for next week. I can offer at the end, and I will, they can't be spoilers, but they can be teasers. And maybe if you ask me some questions, I might be able to answer them, be a bit cryptic. All right, Judy, I'm talking about this interview with you. Oh, okay. So Judy, Chris is not here. That's what I was hoping I was hoping that's not what you mean. You think Chris is joining me tonight? If Chris were joining me or anybody's ever joining me with an interview, I have their photo up and I say that. I say that the live chat with. So this is we do this. Judy, I feel like you've not been here before. And maybe I am just totally messing up what you're trying to say to me, and I apologize. But on Sunday nights, I chat alone. We never have a guest, and we go right after the episode. It used to be later because it used to come on at 9, and we talk about just Lucas, because anything else that we talk about, things that we liked or disliked or whatever outside of Lucas and Chris, I do on Monday nights. So I hope you're not disappointed if you thought you were going to see him. I'm sorry. I could be misunderstanding what you're saying. So I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to hide the current comment. And I wanted to jump in. I wanted to, first of all, on a scale, let's do just a simple 1, 2, 3. I would like for you to put in the comments, and you don't have to tell me why, just a 1, 2, 3. one being the lower score, three being, the better score, what you would have rated this episode, not overall, just with the whole Lucas Bouchard experience for season 13. Do you find it promising? I know that this looks like so weird that you're like, it's a bow. I just don't, it's a bow. um, I'm curious to see what you think. Alrighty, so I'm gonna just put out some things that I love and then just jump in. Okay, I see one, I see two. Okay, I see a three, a two. Okay, all right, two, all right. I see a couple of twos, a couple of threes. Someone threw a one in there. I would say three. I think it's a three. Okay, and I'll tell you why I think it's a three. All right, so good. Keep going. Just keep on adding, and I can scroll later. So, one of the things that I was just loved right away, I felt like immediately that we were heard because I did a series of like live chats where I shared what the fans were sending me. I had tons of email and I put it in folders and I sent it on, and I also shared pieces of it in three different parts, like Joy, we have something to say, we have more to say, that kind of thing, and just broke down things not just about Lucas's character, like the character of Lucas. We did a lot of that, but also about some of the other things that we didn't like. Okay, you got me now. Okay, thank you, Judy. All right. So anyway, I felt like right away one of the big things was we never really saw Lucas interact with a lot of people, but not with Nathan, really, not with I mean, we did see some last season, but not really, not like on a personal, casual, it's okay kind of level. Definitely not with Elizabeth. So Robin, I wanted to talk about some of that, Robin. I'm going to keep that up there for a little bit so I don't forget because it's just me and it moves fast. So I liked when we got to see the phone call come through at the boarding house, and it's Lucas for Elizabeth, and she's like, oh, Lucas, like, oh, my long lost friend, like she's so happy to talk to him. And I was like, oh wow, okay. And of course he's delivering to her some upsetting news, but still there they are having this conversation, and you could see they must have been conversing all along. And we don't normally we didn't get that at all last season. So I thought that was like normalizing that relationship, which gave me hope. And I do have some ideas for the future. So we'll see. That's one of the things that I really liked. Oh, I like what that comment says too. I'm going to have to come to that in a minute. Three for sure. Love to see tonight, and his facial expressions are so awesome. Robin, I want to make sure we talk about those facial expressions because I am with you there. Promising, love Chris, but need more hope. It's coming. It feels like it. Yep. I was glad to see Lee and Lucas discussing like friends again. Yes. So many things that we had like pointed out and where there was a change made in them. If I am not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm not mistaken, this one was written by Joy, who is the showrunner. She wrote this episode. So getting back to this, love scenes with Lucas and Edie. Susan, we're gonna talk about that. So now I love how they had him return. We have him coming into town and the traffic light just turns, and he's not that he's distracted that he's going to run over somebody, because you saw when Rosemary was driving by, she's doing a big old wave, and she really wasn't, was like paying attention. But anyway, they got to get used to the traffic light. He's a little bit tiny bit distracted because of Edie, but I love that Nathan's sitting back watching it all with a smirk on his face, right? And I thought it was great. I just thought it was fantastic. I'm seeing these comments. You've got good stuff I didn't even get to yet. So now when he comes around, Nathan is like his snarky self when he's, not to be mean though, he was snarky as like him fooling around. And he tells him like, the traffic light, you almost ran the traffic light. And he's like, yeah, well, I saw it. And he goes, well, you're going to get like a ticket. Oh, you can get a warning. And I guess you were a bit distracted. And he's looking over at Edie. And then Lucas is like, no, I'm not above the law. And then Edie gets that little look. She leaves because she's done with their antics. And I like how they wrote in for Lucas to say when Nathan was all in his pomp and circumstance. I thought, isn't that just all for show? And then instead of Nathan getting all, mad about it, he like laughs and says, yeah, it kind of was. And then they laugh. But then, and this is a Kevin McGarry thing, he has a certain tone, of course, when he's being snarky and that comes across in a lot of his characters, but then his tone becomes serious. Pascal does this with her character of Rosemary, like she's but when she's really serious, her expressions become small. And Kevin was like, his voice got deep and he's like, in all seriousness, and he shook his hand, thank you so much for your help with getting the clinic together. And he's like, of course. I love that they had that moment where they were like real, and I like that they wrote it that way. So this is me like, oh my god, we got so much promise. And then what I really thought was great was, it's not like we don't see him anymore. They roll him into a whole nother scene where he's got to share an office space with Edie. So it wasn't like we got 2 minutes of him and then 15 minutes of everybody else and then 2 minutes of him. And not that he should take up the whole show. I'm not being greedy, but we didn't get anything last year. It was like, so I was like, darn, I think if you add up all the screen time, and it's good screen time, it's good storyline. It's not just that he's on screen, because somebody said to me, just because he's on screen doesn't mean, and I agree with you, he could be on screen doing really nothing, but he's doing a lot. This is just a blip of what's to come in episode 2 and then in episode 3. And I don't know if you saw, he has a little bit more of that playful, suave part about him. I want to see what you have to say before I move on to anything else. Yes, Robin, it appears that he's being included in the community. I'm going to talk about that and show you something. Let's see. Yes, last year, wait a minute, hold on. See, things are moving so fast. Robin says last year he appeared to be pushed aside in a bit, and I like that they are normalizing the Elizabeth relationship after their breakup. Yes, me too. I love how they went back for it. That was a cool scene. I'll talk about that. Let's see. I didn't like that Lucas failed to get the clinic inspected and Nathan got to be the hero again. Couldn't they have had it given Lucas this victory? I did enjoy seeing him more tonight. Well, Margie, that's not how that went. It wasn't that he failed to get it wasn't up to him. There was a strike that was going on and about to happen. And if he didn't get there in time, that has nothing to do with Lucas. So of course that Nathan, he didn't fail. I mean, he did not fail at all. And of course, Nathan is going to be the hero because he's the couple. They're the couple. That's going to happen. I knew some people were going to say that, but he is the hero. They even called him the hero. They will call him a hero many times, but he is not the only one that they point out as the storylines go on as being a hero. So we can relax, take a breath here. But and also if you think about it, Lucas, and I'm sure some of this was cut, and then you have to go with whatever time you have. But Lucas was part of that, getting him to the plane. He wasn't surprised by the plane. Remember, then he was excited at the end. He's like, let's go look at the plane. And they all ran over. So they worked as a team. We just didn't see it. Do you think they will have him and Edie together this season 13? I do think, I'm not saying that they'll be an official couple, but they will get together. We've heard of Lucas' character. I believe we have been heard of Lucas' character. So fantastic. Love the side by side conversation. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about the side by side conversation. So after we see that whole little fun, flirty, bantery scene with Lucas and Edie in her office, and even if Like, you could tell that there was something about them, that they have feelings for each other. But even if it was just, if it was just a friendship, that cracked me up. I love that back and forth because that's Lucas when he first came, and he had that little piece inside of, like, remember when he was sitting at the table and about the gambling and the hours, and how he tried to do this sidebar negotiating with well, Lord Abigail, and it kind of backfired him on the end at the end, and Henry tried to warn him. But it is that kind of a Lucas, like a little bit of swagger and suave, and not the I failed and always run around getting angry. That those 2 years in a row of that got on my nerves. So I love the whole communication between them. So now it just constantly we got to see the scenes with him rolling. Now he's in the saloon having a conversation with Lee, which I thought was fantastic, and how Edie's having her conversation, and how they pieced that together. That was some great editing, and I thought it was fun. And I like that he's acknowledging that he's hesitant, that he's not just going to jump forward, because that would seem weird to me. Because let's face it, his heart was broken. And I know I shut down and I think of 1 through 9 as a whole other storyline, but the writers don't. And I'm glad that they are what they're writing now. It looks like they're going to be acknowledging those kinds of feelings as along the way. And I think there's even an opening. This is one of my predictions. And I'm not pretending I don't know something when I do. This is not I'm telling you the truth. I don't know this. But from what I do know from seeing episodes 1, 2, and 3, what they've released and giving us like little synopses of each of the episodes, I think it's later in the season, maybe episode 8, I think, where it says that Lucas is hesitant about giving, away his heart or opening up his heart. And I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't that be great for a conversation between him and Elizabeth? I would love that if we could finally see where Elizabeth acknowledges how she hurt him and what she did, and they have some kind of a conversation where, like, he's a good man, it wasn't you, it was me, try again kind of thing. I think we fans would like that. I don't know if that's what happens, but it's a great little segue in. Yes, loving his swagger. Me too. Like, how about when he at the end where he's walking down those steps before we got him where he was doing the cuffs? I love that. I even think I shared it on X. But this time he didn't have a jacket on. He was like tugging at the sleeves of his arm and going down. And it looked like he was about to ask Edie something. Even she was like, anticipating it. And then we saw the thing with the fire. Oh, call if you think she'd pick up. I like back to this, the whoever wrote the dialogue for them, where when they're back at this, I'm just looking at my notes, so that's why I'm backtracking. And they're in the office and they're talking about, I need a lawyer to help me because I got a ticket, and oh, she's best in town, and you think that she'll pick up when I call, which means that he must have been calling, but she wasn't answering, in the summer. And to be fair, he was not, he was busy. And then we roll into that whole conversation with Lee. So I like how he asks her to lunch, and like she's kind of comes back to him, and he uses his word touche again, how he would use that from before. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I want to talk about a comment about something being juvenile. Let's see what you're saying before we go any further. Okay, when we saw episode 1 in Kansas City, oh, Lillian, I think you're the one that talked to me about that. I commented, what a crock about the plane. Okay, tell us why, Lillian. I want to know why. I want to hear that. Give me more detail. I think we behind the scenes kind of talked about it. So I don't want to say anything. Like, I don't want to speak for you. So it'd be good if you can give me a little bit more about that whole plane, Nathan saving the day thing. I wanted to wait a minute. Oh, okay. I think it was Lily and you and I were talking about, and I forget who else was with us, Cindy and Nikki. We were talking about how the way Lucas would look out the window at Edie and she look in, how it felt a bit immature for people of their age. And while I would agree with that, I didn't feel it was so out of place for the show because they treat all of their characters like that with some innocence. Well, not with some, a lot. I'm thinking about Mike and May. They were playing tag and running around in the forest when they were trying to take pictures one time when the newspaper was coming through. And of course, Mike is not Lucas. Like Mike was very like shy and like embarrassed almost and timid with his dating, but all of them that date are kind of hesitant and quiet and keep their like self almost like an innocence. Do you know what I mean? So I can see why it would seem that way. But then I think about my own life and my own family members and their ages and out somewhere and you're looking at someone and you don't want to make eye contact. And I think maybe it just seemed exaggerated because it was, on TV. I think it does still happen. So I wasn't that bent out of shape, but I do know some of you were, and that's okay. When we let's see, I want to see if Lillian has any more to say that. The Lucas we love is back. He's on his way. All right, let's see what this says. Margie, I'm glad they're going to have Lucas um taking it slowly with Edie. I like them together, but I don't think it would be right for him to jump. No, I agree. I'm good with that. Yes, the fire is something. Okay, Robin. Yes, Roxanne. That would be amazing. And he is deserving of it. A proper conversation with Elizabeth of the breakup. Maybe when she sees his happiness around Edie, this could occur. Okay, here we go. I don't think that the OG Nathan would have thought of that ever. Yes. And Lillian, they have changed that character. You're right. It's, Lucas has his piloting license, remember, with the balloon and all of that. So I feel like, he had something to do with it, right? But it's just not there. So it's good. I got you. That was funny. Margie, I agree that it would be wonderful to finally see Elizabeth address the breakup with Lucas. She said in one of the interviews that Elizabeth always wanted to do the right thing, so an apology is due. Yeah. Oh, I wait till you see the next episode. But there's many people that could wear capes, which I'm loving how all of the people are coming together. All right, I want to show you something. You know me and my slides. So I'm going to get small. And then I wanted to show you. I liked how we got to see this. I think it was like a fourth of away of the episode, and we got to see this. We got to see that they're just going to be normal together. You know what I mean? They're going to talk to each other. They're going to not be avoiding each other constantly. I like that. And, he says, thank you. I love the whole idea of him getting the ticket too and how he handled it, Lucas. That's what Lucas does. That's with grace. And that's how he is. And that's a bit of the OG Lucas. The other thing I wanted to show you was this is what I mean by I was happy and I feel like fans were heard is so we're viewers, right? And just like writers do this too. There's certain things a writer does to help set up things. And it's not like if you're good at it, it's not a super conscious effort that the reader has to make. They don't realize it's like subtle innuendo and all the stuff put together paints a picture and a feeling inside of you. And the same is with directing or building a TV series or a show or whatever. Lucas I know they're laughing about Lillian. Good. I'm glad you're talking to each other. That's a good thing. Last season, Lucas was either on the outskirts to the side whenever there was something in the community or not there at all, more not there than all. Now look at this. Little Jack comes out on the porch, holds up the certificate that they've been approved, and Lucas is right there. I mean, he's right there. He could just go like that and touch LJ. He's right up front. He is up front before anybody else. Everyone else is a little bit ways back, which I love. So these are all little subtle things. That's his mark, and he's on his mark when that scene was marked, right? I love it. And then the next is when they're done and all, cheering, he's like the one that says, "Come on, look at that face and that happiness. Let's go check out the plane." That playfulness in him, that adventurous side of him. There it is. So I'm liking all these little subtle things. This is why I say that this episode was a 3. Let's see. Yes, you like that Lucas was right up front. Okay. And Nikki, I do agree, Lillian. Nathan wouldn't have thought of it. Lucas would have. Yes, but the new Nathan does because he spent all the time with the pilot. Remember when he got the thought, he even had a facial expression about the thought. And then he got on the phone, but the mustache thing, that's all for tomorrow. Okay. Cindy. Cindy says, "I'm not sure how I feel about Lucas and Edie sharing an office. Love them together, but too much. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what they do. Let's see how it goes." I think it makes for an easier way to write the storyline in and to give them screen time. So maybe that's why. But it all depends upon the writing and the directing. We know they can surely act. So we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. Let's see. What was the other thing I wanted to point out before? Add my 2 cents. Okay, the juvenile part. It's playing cards. Don't want to mess things. Oh, I just looked back at some of my notes of when he was talking about how he misses his that sparring with her. He likes it. And I like that. Someone who's giving him a run for the money and he's ready for it. And I like that they're not making it so romantic at first, which is smart. They're making it more like a friendship. So it appeals to him on a different level, and the relationship would not be the same. It would be different. You're attracted to something that's a little more different. Although Elizabeth did give Lucas a run for his money, and I love how he would handle her, but this is a different kind of a thing. Like, she's appealing to his sense of adventure, things that he shouldn't have to change. Things like playing cards and having a little bit of that wild, adventurous side on him. I like that. I like that they're embracing it and we get to see it. I'm looking when LJ has her. Okay, I'm just making sure I have all my little notes up. Okay. So that last part where he's about to approach her and ask her out or say something, and then the smoke happens. Do you notice who Nathan calls for first? He doesn't call for Bill. He calls for Lucas. And Lucas is right there, and then the mayor is right behind him. So the power that they have given Lucas, or the importance, I shouldn't say power, of his position as governor is not just single focus of these, I need to build a resort and need constant trying to find somebody to donate or not donate, invest. Or it's not that one single focus of what to do with that land. It's like everything. He's involved in everything. And if I heard all of the interviews and whatnot, one of the things that they say is this season is definitely focused on everyone. I brought this up, just water in my little glass, but I wanted to say, cheers to a happy new year, 2026. I'm not leaving you yet, but I need a sip of water. Okay. I appreciate the emphasis now on friendship. I like when things don't move too fast because then it doesn't feel right. And I know, sorry. I know they only have so many episodes, but I don't like when it's super long drawn out. And I also don't like when it's rushed. So this, I hope, is going in the correct direction. Edie playing cards, drinks whiskey, and wears pants. She is different from Elizabeth. She is Nikki. Do we think McGinty set the fire? Margie, I'm only going to answer it because Lucas is connected to the fire. They sure look like they think that's going to happen, right? Right? They think kind of. It's where it looks like it's going, but we don't know. Okay, so I've seen episode 2. and I've seen episode 3, and I'm not saying I seen it, reason why I'm saying this is that what can I tease for you? I can't review or spoil until, well, Monday, the Monday before the next episode. So I'll be able to share more tomorrow about episode 2. Um, Anybody have a question, and I'll see if I can answer it, let me know over here in the comments. So what these are things that I can tell you. I can tell you that um Lucas had a big part, correct? We have to be in agreement that he had a big part in this episode, right? Well, he has just as big as a part in the next episode and in the third episode. Um let's see. I love when they include Lucas with the whole town. Yes. And they will continue to do that, I promise you, in the next 2 episodes. What happens after that, I don't know, but I'm just letting you know. Did Lucas tell Lee while in the saloon that he was busy over the summer with his governorship? Yep, the insulin center and the reelection. Did I hear that right? Is Lucas running again for another term? Yes, 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 yes. They brought that up last season, and they will bring it up again in the next 2 episodes. So, and you're going to see him struggle with his personal life. And I don't mean Edie, I mean his personal life and his life as governor and balancing the time with that, which they kind of hinted at already. That's good to hear. Okay. So when we first met Lucas, there were certain things about him that, he had an adventurous side, right? And he loved cards, and he loved magic, and he loved children. We could see that right away. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say nothing. I'm just going to go. So, it's good. You're going to enjoy the next 2 episodes. You're feeling hopeful for this season. I already feel like it has a different flavor, right? Watching the trailer for next week, it looks like Lucas and Edie are to save horses on her ranch. Anything you can say? I could talk to that since what came out. That is true. You're going to see many heroes. We saw Bill, we saw the 3 Mounties run, and Joseph went with them into the woods, and you're going to see them protecting and saving the kids and taking care of that. But that's not all. You're going to see back in the town, you're going to see Lucas lead something and do something with a team of people. And we saw a picture of that where his hair is a hair of glory and whatnot. You're going to see Mike and May do some miraculous things. You're also the whole town you're going to see, and they break off into parts, and they all have that equal time being important. And so what happens is, yes, Edie, she runs up. She's like, I cannot let my horses and cows burn. So Nathan doesn't want her to go, but she does. She goes to free the animals, and Nathan finds Lucas and tells him that Edie is not here because of that. And then Lucas goes to help her, which is what you're seeing in the clip. So yes, 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 yes. He is living back in town. Is that not correct? He is. He's back. He's back. He was away all summer, and he's back for a while. Yes, yes, yes. And I agree that this episode felt more like The One Calls the Heart that we all love. Yeah, I agree, Margie. I do too. I don't know if anyone has any more questions. It's late, so I like to not be here forever and a day. I said a lot of ums, and I have to have another drink. I had something that was really salty, and I'm not used to all that salt, so I'm like super thirsty. Okay. So Monday, I love that Bill wait a minute. Listen, Margie, that is not for this podcast, is for tomorrow, but I will say, come live with him. We don't even know where you live, Bill. Come live with me. You know the whole story of where does everyone live. Yes, I will be back to school tomorrow. Yeah, I will be. Yeah, this is nice. It definitely has a different vibe, closer to the old One Calls the Heart seasons. Appear they are working on keeping all audiences happy and not losing viewers. Yes. Don't forget, you have a different showrunner. So as much continuity from one showrunner to another tries, and I don't mean that's what happened with One Calls the Heart, but just in general, they try to, not rewrite a show, that's how you lose fans. It's like it's always going to be a little different, right? So I feel like this is a little more back to what we're used to. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, if you're interested, I will talk about the rest of the show. I want to talk about the symbolism of the mustache and the light. I want to talk about who lives where and share a few other things. It is my hope to have guests on as we progress. Right now, people are on vacation or coming, just getting done doing X, Y, and Z. So that I already put in my requests and my asks. So it would be nice to have some of the actors or directors or whatever on. I really wish I could have on the people who do the special effects. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the special effects with the fire. You from what we could see is the smoke, and then you saw some of the clips, like the fire it looks so good. I don't know how much of that was actually physical and how much of that is like, AI kind of stuff. Yeah. Lucy says, I was so excited for today. Now I'm even more excited. Well, good, Lucy. I'm happy to hear that. All right, friends. Thank you for tuning in. I am going to hopefully see some of you tomorrow, and y'all have a good night. See ya.